The English countryside, 12th century. The harvest moon hangs heavy over the village of Woolpit. In the fading light, farmers make their way home, their work done for the day. But as they pass one of the deep pits used to trap wolves, they hear something, not an animal cry, but the unmistakable sound of children weeping. When they peer into the darkness, they find two figures huddled together. But these are no ordinary lost children. Their skin shines with an unearthly green hue. Their clothes are made of unknown fabrics, and when they speak, their words are unlike any language ever heard in England. This is not a fairy tale. This is a historical mystery that has endured for nearly 1,000 years. The villagers of Woolpit faced a dilemma straight out of legend. Here were two children, a boy and a girl, neither more than 10 years old, who might as well have fallen from the sky. Their green skin wasn't just pale or sickly, it was the color of moss, of pond water, of something not quite human. Their clothing baffled the villagers, fabrics that shimmered oddly, cuts and styles unknown in 12th century England. The children were terrified, huddling together and speaking in rapid, musical words that meant nothing to the English farmers. When the villagers reached for them, the children recoiled in fear. They were brought to the home of Sir Richard de Conn, the local landowner, who took them in despite his own confusion. Here was a mystery that would challenge everything medieval England understood about the world. 4 days, the green children refused all food, the finest meats, fresh bread, cooked vegetables, everything offered to them was pushed away. They grew weaker, their unusual green complexion fading to a worrying pallor. The villagers watched in frustration and concern. They had saved these children from the pit only to watch them starve to death before their eyes. Then came the breakthrough. By chance, a servant brought in freshly harvested broad beans, still in their green pods. The children's eyes lit up with recognition. They gestured frantically toward the beans, but didn't seem to know how to open the pods. When the villagers showed them, the children devoured the raw beans with desperate hunger. 4 months afterward, raw broad beans remained their only food, a detail that would become crucial to understanding their origins. As weeks turned into months, a slow transformation occurred. The children's green skin gradually faded to a normal pinkish hue, as if whatever had colored them was washing out of their systems. The girl, in particular, began to adapt. She watched everything, listened to every word, and slowly started picking up English. But tragedy shadowed their strange story. The boy, always the weaker of the two, never fully recovered his strength. He grew increasingly sickly, his health declining despite the care he received. Within a year of their discovery, he died, taking with him any chance of hearing his version of their incredible story. With her brother gone and her English improving, the girl finally told their story. She said they came from a place called St. Martin's Land, a world of perpetual twilight where the sun never properly rose. She described everything bathed in a constant, dim, greenish light, which explained why all the people there had green skin like hers had been. They were Christians, she claimed, and their world existed across a great river. One ordinary day, while tending their father's cattle, they heard a loud noise, like enormous bells ringing, and suddenly found themselves in the Woolpit fields. Disoriented and terrified, they wandered until they fell into the wolf pit that gave the village its name. So what really happened? Let's examine the theories. The most plausible theory suggests the children were Flemish immigrants. In the 12th century, Flemish settlers in eastern England faced violent persecution. The green skin could have been chlorosis, a severe anemia from malnutrition that gives skin a greenish tint. Their unknown language would have been Flemish, and their refusal of all food except beans fits with extreme famine conditions. They might have been orphans who fled into the Thetford forest and become disoriented. But could they have been visitors from another world? The green skin, strange clothing, and description of a twilight world match many modern UFO accounts. The loud noise before their arrival parallels UFO abduction stories. Their inability to eat Earth food except beans suggests biological incompatibility. Were these children accidental visitors from another planet? Then there's the folklore connection. In Celtic mythology, fairies often had green clothing and lived in a twilight, other world. Many folk tales describe people stumbling into fairy realms and returning changed. The children's story mirrors these legends perfectly. Were they visitors from what medieval people would have called the fairy realm? Medieval legends also spoke of hollow earths and subterranean civilizations. Could St. Martin's Land have been an underground world where people lived in artificial twilight? The Great River might separate their world from ours, with the children somehow passing between dimensions. The girl, baptized as Agnes, grew up in Woolpit and eventually married a royal official from King's Lynn. She lived what appeared to be a normal life, though chroniclers noted she was rather loose and wanton in her conduct, different from other women. In other words, she never provided more details about her homeland, and when she died, the full truth died with her. This isn't just folklore. The story appears in two separate 12th-century chronicles, William of Newburgh's Historia Rerum Anglicarum and Ralph of Coggeshall's Chronicon Anglicanum. These were serious historians recording what they believed to be factual events. The accounts match in their essential details, giving the story historical credibility. Today, Woolpit remains a small English village, though the wolf pits are long gone. The mystery persists in local lore, with the village sign featuring the two green children. Every generation revisits the mystery, trying to solve what medieval chroniclers could not. So what really happened to the green children of Woolpit? Were they persecuted Flemish orphans, suffering from disease and malnutrition? Were they visitors from another world or dimension? Or do they represent one of history's great unsolved mysteries, a moment when the ordinary rules of reality seem to bend? The truth may be lost to time, but the questions remain. What's fascinating is how this story bridges our rational modern world and the mysterious medieval one. It reminds us that history still holds secrets that defy easy explanation. What's your theory about the green children? Do you think there's a rational explanation? Or does this point to something stranger? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We read every single one. If you want to help us uncover more of history's greatest mysteries, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Because the most fascinating stories aren't always in the history books, sometimes they're waiting in the shadows, just beyond the light of understanding.